Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Now today I have for you a very special guest, Masayuki Mochizuki, more fondly known as Mochy. He is the only Super Grandmaster in the world. He has won the World Championship twice. He just reclaimed his UBC title. He just got inducted into the Hall of Fame in America. This guy is incredible. What he doesn't know about backgammon is not worth knowing about. Mochy, it's a pleasure to have you on my channel. Thank you for joining me.
Hi, thank you for inviting me. It's my pleasure too to be here. I'm very excited.
Absolutely. I'm really pleased that you're here to also talk about your book that has just come out called Masterclass. You can see it there on the screen. Now, this book is available to buy on the Galaxy shop. I will put a link into the video description. And this is a three-way collaboration between Mochy, Grandmaster Marc Olsen, and also Alec Barr, who took your brilliant backgammon wisdom and put it into writing that is intelligible and eloquent. So well done on this publication. I've read it already. I was lucky enough to have a proof copy, and it is a fantastic book.
I also have a copy here.
Do you want to show people the book a little bit more? Maybe the quality of the hardcover, the binding. It's a really luxury book.
Yeah, this is this thick, and the quality of the cover is like nice, embossed gold. Like I really love it actually.
It's a luxury product, really beautifully finished, a hardcover with a bookmark, and 400 pages of positions and analysis. So really fantastic. How do you feel, Mochy, about this coming out?
Well, it's been a long time. I think I have done the lecture in 2020. So it's already 3 years now. And the most credit goes to Alec Barr, who made a lot of effort to make it a book. I and Marc did a seminar in Spain, Marbella, and there are 4 seminars. This was called Masterclass. So I have done 2 seminars about backgammon and blitzing and priming position, and Marc has done different seminars, 2 seminars, and this book collects 4 seminars into 1 book. So yeah, I'm very excited. This is first book for me in English. I have published 3 books in Japanese, but this is first book for English, and the quality of the book is very high. English is perfect, and the contents, I'm confident because generally I'm doing a lot of seminars all over the world. I have done probably like 20 different seminars, and the 2 most confident seminar is in this book. So I really like it.
It's fantastic that people get to experience those seminars, because I remember when you offered the Masterclass seminar, it was a very exclusive event. You were only taking so many people, and also people had to travel to get there. And now this is available for everybody, this book. Anybody can buy it. Did you know when you gave those seminars that you wanted to put them into a book at the time? Or not really? It came later.
No, actually, Marc Olsen had an idea before the seminar, and but I didn't know how it's gonna go. Then Marc found Alec Barr, who is a phenomenal author. The biggest problem for me and Marc is we are not native speakers. So writing the book is really the difficult part, right? We have an idea, we have a position, we have explanation, but writing a book is completely different task. And since he comes into the picture, so this happened.
I think it's really nice that it's a collaborative project, because backgammon is a community between different people. And, you and Marc obviously are incredibly strong players, and Alec has the English writing skills, and you all come together to make this product, which is excellent.
Yeah. Also, Alec was very, very, I want to say, he was a keen learner too. So he is not doing this as a job. He's passionate. He's asking a position. Why is that? What's a better way to explain? So he's like part of the book, really. He's not like translating or anything. He is one of the authors in my mind. You know what I mean?
That's fantastic. I mean, it's really.
I'm pretty sure he improved his game too.
I mean, I'm sure spending time with you and Mark would have a massive, massive benefit to anybody. Let's have a look at the next slide. So here you can see the names of the writers. So there we have Alec Barr, who's done a fantastic job of putting this together into a readable format, and Mark and Mochy, which you know well. And the chapter content, just following up there, is so the book is really split into 4 chapters, as you said, Mochy, which is two of your talks and 2 of Mark's talks. Now, what I really like about this book is that it focuses a lot on game plan. Like the first 2 chapters are really about how to decide what game plan. And personally, I don't think there's been a good book on game plan since What's Your Game Plan, which was written like a long time ago. And that's an excellent book by Marty Storer and Mary Hickey. But yeah, the importance of game plan is something that is so central to improving your game, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was the idea behind that? That there were going to be 2 chapters just on game plan. Was there a reason?
No, not really, because we didn't do the seminar to make a book. We did the seminar for the participants in the seminar, and it's just coincidence that we had the 2 seminars about game plan. But my seminar about strategic visualization, planning, or blitzing, I had this idea for like 15 years ago already, and as time goes, I developed my idea, and I personally use the most this idea because this is easy to implement, and you don't need any calculation. You don't need, and it's very useful. Mark's game plan is very different approach to how do you think of the position, and it also it's a different approaches. It is like some overlaps theme. So it's just coincidence, but it's like if you read both of the chapters, you can improve your game tremendously. That's in my opinion.
Yeah, and the chapters, they finish with a quiz section. So you get like some 15 positions where you can test yourself and reinforce that learning from the chapter.
Yeah.
And I like the way it's laid out. The positions are nice and clean and easy to read. So it's nicely put together. Now, game plan is, like, for me, I think the most important thing to think about in backgammon, because really everything is about game plan. Every checker move you make needs to be leading you towards, the race or the blitz or whatever it might be. And I think actually your whole book is really about game plan. Like every chapter is about game plan, because even back games are a game plan. How you play those.
Yes, actually, one of the biggest challenge in back game is when to get out the back game. When to get into the back game. And if you stick to the back game plan, you sometimes makes a huge blunder. You know what I mean? Because sometimes the best play is not to play back game. So in that sense, yes, you're right that everything is a game plan. If you choose a wrong game plan in the game, you definitely not make a best play.
Yeah, and you can make repeated mistakes, right? Not just one, repeated blunders. Now, now your chapter on back game was fantastic, and I think it's the first serious chapter on back game. there's been in a book by a top player. You know, like writing a whole chapter on different back games is very ambitious to put together. How did you feel about kind of doing that on back games?
Yes. So when I did a seminar about backgammon for the first time, I realized that there was no book written only focused on backgammon. Yeah, there's an article here and there about backgammon on the web, but it wasn't perfect. And also, so I'm very proud of it because I'm probably the first person ever to focus on backgammon. But also, I gotta say, the back game is like a broad chapter. So if you really focus, if you really finish the back game, you need entire book or two because it's such a big topic. Like you have 10 different back games, right? According to the position, according to the anchors, right? 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 3, 4, 3. Then there's a technique to get the timing, technique to mistime his back game, and etc. etc. So my chapter about back game is a tip of the iceberg, but this is a good start to understand what's going on in the back game because lots of people don't know what the back game is really. They are trying to pretend playing back game, but you have to have like concrete idea what's going on. Then you have a good chance to make a best play, right?
Absolutely. I think a lot of people mistake back games for holding games, and they misunderstand things like timing and flexibility. And
yeah. Also the timing things. So a lot of people say, well, I have a good timing in this game. I don't have a timing for back game, but they don't have a theoretical background. So I probably the first one that give like a backup, like a back game became science. Now I counted the pip count. Say if you play 2-3 back game, you have to be back. You have to be down 60 pips, for example. 50 pips. Right? And if you play 1-3 back game, you need to be down 60 pips. If you play 1-2 back game, you have to be down like 90 or more to have to take the cube. So this is probably the first one, and so I give a back game about theoretical background, how to think it. Not just saying, "Hey, I have a timing," which is very vulgar, vague argument. So what do you mean you have a timing? Why you have timing? Why you think you have a timing? Now I can say, "Hey, I have a timing because I have this much down. I can get out and stuff like that," right?
absolutely. That's what I really like about that chapter. You break down those concepts really clearly, and you take something that's actually very complicated. Like we often say that back games and containment games are more difficult to play than other types of games. Um, so you take it and you break it down, and you break it down with positions, but also concepts. Different sort of concepts like timing and things you mentioned, just to help people really understand what does he mean? What are you looking at over the board? Why is it important? And I think one of the main focuses of the book is it's not about the what, it's about the why.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really fundamental to becoming a better player. You need to be conscious about why you're doing certain things over the board, particularly in back games, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I really liked that. I thought it was a great chapter, and it's one of those chapters I think you need to go back and read again because there's a lot of content in there. And it's of value to lots of players. So, maybe the first two chapters would appeal more to maybe like an intermediate player, priming and blitzing. But back games, you could be a grandmaster and you could learn stuff about.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then the last chapter by Mark on cube action in undefined positions, sort of middle game positions, is very much like Pratt but a kind of more advanced Pratt. And I know Mark's been working on this in previous books as well, his value equation and how you weigh the variables in the position. But again, very interesting chapter.
It's very unique approach to decide the cube action. I learned a lot about this from him,
What did you learn about it? Tell me some more, Mochy, about that.
Yes. As you know, I don't want to reveal too much here, but the plot is called a position, raise, and sled. And if you have 2 out of 3, it's a double take. You have 3 out of 3, then it's a double pass. This is a very basic approach to the cube action, but he gave a priming factor as well as plot. So he shaped up the plot in the next level, and which is very, very useful. I didn't think of it. This is a very unique idea. The history of Backgammon had like 2,000 years, and he's like first one, who came up with this idea, and really nice, Of course, this cube action is invented 100 years ago, but still.
I like it. I like it how he, again, redefines the term. So when people think of threat, they tend to think about hitting. But he also says threat can be escaping a back checker. That's also a threat. So we hear these terms a lot, Pratt, but again, people don't fully understand the terms. And Mark's a great teacher at explaining concepts. So that was very enjoyable. I know Julian Fetterline, he has a SPRAT. He says score, position, race, and threat. SPRAT. So it's
what is S for?
Score. Like match score.
Oh, okay.
And
I see.
And then Mark talks a lot about contact, which is often left out of the argument about Pratt, where you need to think about the contact value in positions. So 4 chapters, lots and lots of really good content. Hundreds and hundreds of positions which really demonstrate the concepts, and things that look obvious are not obvious. I read it, I was making some mistakes when I felt confident. So it's very, very good to have these ideas reinforced.
Thank you.
So what else can we say about this? Tell me about how we came together, the collaboration and the process of putting the book together.
As I said, I have done a lot of seminars in the past, so Marc naturally invited me to do a seminar in Marbella, and he also very interested in doing a seminar, so we did it, and we decided to film it, and so one of the things that I wanted to add is that when I do a seminar in the tournament, let's say I do a seminar in London, there are people from different levels. Like some people came from beginners, some people are intermediate, some people are grandmaster, right? And so I like to find the right balance, right? Because if I make it too easy, the grandmaster will be bored, right? If I make it too difficult, then beginner will not take it, right? So my book and my seminar in general is designed to I would say intermediate or low open players. However, I guarantee you that even you are grandmasters or masters level, you can enjoy a lot and you can find it very, very useful. That's what I wanted to add a little bit.
Absolutely. And I agree. As we said earlier, like the back game chapter particularly is very useful for higher level players. And game plan is just so fundamental no matter what level you are, really. And the explanation that Alec Barr has put across is very nice and easy to follow. So It's a very, very good book, and I'm really happy it's out. I want to talk to you about some other things, Mochi. So recently, you won the UBC Contender.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be matching up with Sander again in the future. I mean, how are you feeling about that rematch?
Uh, well, I am very glad that I won the UBC contender because I would say the UBC contender tournament is as hard as the real final because in UBC contender you have to play different opponents. You gotta play a lot of matches. So first 2 days you have to play how many was it? Like 16 matches,
Yeah.
and then 8 players are eliminated. So from the quarterfinal, you have to play 4 matches. Then semifinal is gonna be 5 matches. The final is gonna be 6 matches. It's 5 days, right? And my opponent is super good. My opponent was Dirk Sheeman, Zenek Zizker, and of course Olivia Squire. And I gotta beat them all in short matches. In 4 matches to outplay Oliver Squire is not easy task. I think I'm favorite, but still lots of variance in backgammon too, even in the PR. So I was very lucky, obviously, and if I gotta say my odds of winning that tournament, I would say maybe like 1-8, not more, because the field is so tough. So I'm very, very glad to win the tournament, and I don't want to play a contender tournament again. And also I'm very excited to play Sandra again because personally I didn't play well last year against Sandra. It was disappointing, and I feel bad about myself, and I feel bad that I didn't show the best performance, and I disappointed many players, including my fans and including Sander. You know what I mean? Win or lose, I want to show the best performance, and I want him to show the best performance so that that's something. You know what I mean? Something. It doesn't happen too often in your life, playing in the final of the UBC tournament. Okay, I played it 4 times, but in the reality, how many more years I can play the final? You know what I mean? So I'm really gonna do my best in next final and see what happens.
I'm sure everyone will look forward to that. And your worst day at PR is the best day for some other players. You play incredibly well, very consistently, and your accolades and wins, speak for themselves. Going into the UBC contender this year, Mochi, how did you feel? Were you nervous? Did you feel like very confident, or what was happening?
Well, I wasn't confident. Obviously, I was confident to be last 8 actually, but still, any mistake, if I overlook something and commit like 300 blunders, then I might be out. Mm-hmm. So I was confident to be in the quarterfinal, but I was very, very careful too. Then from a quarterfinal, I didn't think much. I just played the game. I just wanted to do my best, and it happened to be in a good way. UBC itself is really a good challenge for me to improve my game. I have extra motivation to improve my game and prevail against all the best,
Like at your level, Super Grandmaster, how do you keep improving at that level? Like what can you say anything about, like, what do you do to prepare and improve?
Well, basically, I play 7-point match against Kazuki, who lives with me in my house, and we discuss the position afterwards. We put in the extreme gammon. We find the mistakes. We try to reasoning it, and I put it to the Anki program so that I don't forget. Mm-hmm. And if I found if I found strings of the mistakes in the same seamer, then I will figure out why it's a mistake and how do I think for the next time. So yeah, it's pretty normal procedure, I think. But I guess I'm doing it with Kazuki, who is like top grandmasters. So it's I can get a feedback anytime I want. You know what I mean? So that's a big plus for me.
Yeah. And how often do you play? How many hours are you playing, like daily? Just as an idea, do you?
Maybe like twice a day, 2 7-point match when I need to prepare. Like a month or the before the UBC contender tournament, I played 2 matches a day. That's what I did.
And I think one thing I've noticed when you play is you're very calm, no matter what's happening in the world. You seem very poised, very calm. How do you maintain that level of tranquility and calmness when you play?
I don't know. If you have played 20 years, you have seen most of it already. So I'm not too excited about one sticks on the bar from the bar, you know. But of course, also as a profession, I try to, act not to affect my emotion into play,
Yeah.
So it's a result of training as well, I think.
Yeah, discipline and so on. Yeah. And very recently, you got inducted into the USBGF Hall of Fame. So fantastic, well done, Mochy. Very well deserved. How was that? How did you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm very, very honored, obviously. I'm very excited, but at the same time, I feel pressured because if I am chosen, I'm also chosen as #1 in Backgammon Giants, but I always question myself if there is a best backgammon player in the world, if there is a backgammon player, the best backgammon player in the history, how much level should he play? Is this my level? Definitely no. Okay, my level is not enough to be greatest player of all time, so I'm not enough. So I gotta improve a lot, and also I feel pressured because I'm in a position to promote backgammon. Because if you're one of the top players in any game, right, you are also a responsibility to promote the game in general, right? I have to, not have to, but we should. For example, like right now, backgammon community is quite a big, but it can be much bigger. It can be as big as chess community, for example. We can get the sponsorship, right? We can create much stronger federations, or we can do many things to improve and raising awareness of the game. And I'm part of it. I'm a big part of it, and I haven't done much about it. I'm not enough yet. So in this way, I feel pressured. But of course, I can't do everything by myself. So I need some help with others. But I must be one of the driving forces in that regard, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, unquestionably, you are an ambassador of Backgammon, and I think you do a lot behind the scenes that people aren't really aware of. I mean, yes, you give lots of talks and seminars, but I know you have a school, like a Japanese summer school, right? That you run with other players. Um, what can we do, Mochy, to introduce maybe more women to the game, more children to the game? Like, do you have any ideas for that? Things we can do to grow?
Yeah, what I started in Japan and what I wanted to start globally is teaching backgammon in the school. in junior high school maybe, or even elementary school. Actually, elementary school is the best because you can learn a lot of things from backgammon, from playing backgammon, because you can learn arts, you can learn discipline, you can run basic probability, statistics, and the strategy, and you run how to focus, you run how to behave when you lose, a lot of things, right? And in personal, my opinion, that backgammon is actually a better game than chess, for example. Chess is a pretty good game to improve your playing. However, once it's more like I don't know. Actually, it's not a good example, but I think you can learn a lot from playing backgammon. So we started a backgammon class for elementary school in Japan, and it's well received. And I want to expand it to much broader audience. So we started in one class, but this year, I want to make it 3 classes in like 3 years. And make 10, 15, and ultimate goal is, of course, do it in all elementary school in Japan, and the United States, and Europe, and, Africa, whatever, because this is a great game for the children.
Yeah, and I think you're completely right in that they are learning discipline, risk and reward, important skills to learn. So it's amazing the contribution you're making, and that you want to grow it even further, and we can all be a part of that process.
Right, that's true. That's
true. Like, no matter who you are, you don't need to be a grandmaster to start a club in your school. Or
just teach backgammon to your children is a lot of contribution already.
Absolutely.
If you have kids.
Do your children play backgammon?
Yeah.
Are they
all 3 of them?
Are they PR sub 5 players yet?
No. No. We're not introducing PR thing in my 11 years. 7. My kids are 3, 7, 11. So they are playing with the checkers. Let me put it this way. They they move checkers, they roll the dice, they enjoy it. At the same time, they learn things in the game. So that's a good start. You know what I mean? The PR comes next. If they're really interested in keep playing, maybe when he became like 13, 14, 15 years, then that's a good measurement, but not now.
Maybe in the future we will see them in the UBC. I've got a question I have to ask you. So at the moment, you are the world's only Super Grandmaster. Who do you think is going to be the next Super Grandmaster?
Yeah, there should be many more Grandmasters in my mind. They didn't have time to challenge, I guess. It's just a matter of time. So, for example, Hideaki Ueda can be a Grandmaster. Super Grandmaster. What was the criteria? It's below 2.5, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he can do that. Kazuki Yokota can play below 2.5. Who else? Zdenek can play, below 2.5 if he puts some time on it.
Mm-hmm.
And many others. I would say maybe 5 more players can be Super Grandmasters.
Yeah. I know Zdenek recently, he got G0, right? Grandmaster 0. So he's on the way up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you think there will ever be a point where people play at like a 0 PR? You think that's possible?
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
Well, first of all, the Extreme Gammon is not perfect. So even if you made the best play according to the god of the backgammon, if it exists, Extreme Gammon might give you a penalty because Extreme Gammon doesn't understand the position. So the quick answer is Extreme Gammon make mistakes too. So if you use Extreme Gammon to measure the game, you're not gonna play 0. And also there's a limit for the human, and 0 is absolutely way above the human limitation. I think maybe 1.8 is like a limit of the human, but I don't know. I think some people can definitely break 2.0, but not 1.5 for example. That's like way. I don't think so.
Yeah, I know you recently posted up a screenshot of a PR from the final in Japan, and they played at a 0.5 or so. It was incredible. No, it was an extremely low PR anyway in the fight.
Yes, it was 1.2 by the winner. His name is Kentaro Major. He was youngest grandmaster. And the other guy played 1.9, which is incredible as well. But again, his average is not 1.2. It was happened to be one game that he played really well, and it was the final. But on average, he plays probably like 3.5, or something in that category.
Yeah.
So if you ask the average of the players, 2.0 is really, really crosses the limit of the human, I think.
Interesting. And let's talk about consistency. I mean, one thing that separates, grandmasters from super grandmasters and so on is a level of consistency. How do you maintain such consistent high play? Like, do you? What's the secret?
So. How do I? Okay, I know most positions, right? So I can nail down to 2 plays, for example, and even if I make a wrong play, it's not going to be a big mistakes. Mm-hmm. And if you could do it for many positions, the real mistakes comes from the human factor. For example, you may be distracted, or you may be tired, or you may be pressured by chess clock. Let's say you have only 1 minute, so you don't have enough time to think about it. And in my case, the most of the mistakes comes from when I am down in the time. So I'm working on it. I'm working on it for many years, but it's very difficult to improve my thing because this came to my nature. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is that first you have to focus on eliminating mistakes. You have to know the position, of course. But then secondly, you have to work your human tendency, like bad habits, bad way of thinking, so that you can actually execute that your level of the game over the board. So there's 2 different things, knowing the position and doing over the board is 2 different things. You have to improve both.
Yeah, application is really key. And how do you run? Do you meditate? Do you have little things you do to help you focus?
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to a gym maybe twice a week or so. I do meditate sometimes. But yeah, if you became like 40 years old, you do such things to be in good shape.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's interesting, Mochy. Seeing what you think about stuff. I mean, let's look at some positions from the chapter on backgame strategy. So these are positions actually taken from the book, all from Money Games. As we said earlier, backgames can be very complicated, and definitely they are worth learning about. So in this first one, white has a 5-3 to play. The cube has been turned. Have a think about it at home. How would you play this 5-3 as white? Black is on the bar. And then we're going to show you the answer afterwards. And Mochy will explain. And now this is what the positions look like in the book. So you can see it's very clear, easy to follow, nice layout. And then under this in a book, there will be the written explanation of the right play. So you can check that out. Okay, what's the answer?
Okay. The best play here is coming out without hit, 21-16, and 5-2 with 3, slotting on the deuce point. So before I explain the right answer, I explain the bad plays. Yeah. So the worst play would be making a deuce point. That's bad because when you play against the back game, you want to break his timing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to maintain 6 prime so that he cannot get out, so that he has to crunch his inner board. For example, if you keep the 6 prime in front of him, he comes in, then he starts crunching, right? But if you do make a deuce point, first you break your 6 point, plus you give him additional dancing number. Black actually wants to dance so that he doesn't need to move. So in 2 reasons, it's a bad play. The second worst play would be hitting and running, like 21-18 and 18-3. This is probably a typical mistake by intermediate players. In normal game, I would say the hitting and go is the most natural play. But here in back game, if you hit him, you help him timing usually. And this game is not exception. If you hit, then he will be 2 on the bar. Then he takes more time to coming in, so that he delays the process of crunching.
Mm-hmm.
So don't help him come out with a 5 and slot the deuce point with a 3. So if he gonna roll, for example, 2-6 from the bar, 2-5, 2-4, or double 2, then he has to hit me, right, from the bar. Just imagine that I play 21-16 and 5-2, then he rolled the deuce, that kind of deuce. Then I got a hit, then I can start from the 24, so that I get again a timing, and he has no way to prime me because he has 5 men back already. So I just want to get hit. And after the best play, say he dance. Say he roll like double 5 or something, he cannot enter, then in the next row, you will not cover the deuce point. Because again, this helps him. You just leave the deuce point open, so hoping that he will be hit, so that you will gain your timing. You will gain the pip card.
Excellent.
So that was my explanation.
Just go to the next slide where we see the answer.
Mm-hmm.
So there we have it. So yes, it's really all about timing. You don't mind getting hit because you damage his timing. But like you say, a lot of players here will probably play 21-18 and run as a common mistake. And this slotting in front of the anchor is quite, you see it a lot in like a backgammon. Okay, next position. Okay. Interesting one. So again, you can see all these in Masterclass with the explanation, and this is just a sample of the positions. There's many more in the book. So good luck, viewers. Double 2. This is a difficult one, I think.
Yeah. Can I explain now?
You can explain. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, if it happened over the board, a lot of people just play 39 to hit and 9 to 5 without thinking. And I think I was one of them when it happened over the board. But the best play is, I just going to show you. So this is the best play. 13 level 3 times and 7-5. Once again, if you hit the 9 point and make a 5, you do 2 bad things. 1, you give him more timing. 2, you break the plan. Sorry, not you break the plan, but you give him a timing, and you don't clear the 7 point. So what you want to do here is, the main problem for you is the midpoint. you won't clear the midpoint. So you're going to do it starting to 11 3 times and 7 to 5. Obviously, you might think black is going to hit. You expose his blots for, he can hit with 4 or 5, but look at his board. He has a blot on the 6 point, right? So getting hit is not your threat here. Actually, black shouldn't hit except double 5. He shouldn't hit even 4-3. He shouldn't hit with even 5-3, hit and cover. Because you are way down in the race and you are not ready yet. If you hit with 4-3, for example, you're exposing 3 blots on the 22 and 18 and 16, and you are not ready to contain me anyway. Mm-hmm. So the risk of exposing blot on 7 point is very, very limited. So what is really happening is if 7 point is not going to hit, then you clear the 11 point and you clear the 7 point, which is 2 good things. And if you do hit and make the 5 point, you don't clear the 7 point, you give him more timing, and you don't clear the 7 point as well. So that's my explanation here.
Yeah, great. I mean, what's interesting here is that even here for black with a 4 checkers back and a broken home board, he still has 40% winning chances.
Yeah. It also shows how strong the back game can be.
Yeah, the 3-2 back game, is that the best back game, you think, the 3-2?
No, I mean, yes, that's a typical question. And also it's a long question. Well, my quick answer is 1-2 back game is the strongest if you get the timing, okay? But you practically very difficult to get the timing for 1-2 back game. Mm-hmm. So in practice, 2-3 back game is way stronger than 2-1 back game just because you're not going to get the timing for 2-1 back game. However, if you play intermediate or beginners, your opponent might help you to get the timing. In that sense, you might try to play 1-2 back game. But if your opponent is decently, the decent players, then you probably go for the 2-3 back game.
Thank you. Very interesting position. And also looking at the 4 quadrants of a board before you make your decision also helps you as well here.
Yeah.
Okay, next one, Mochy, number 3. Okay, again, here we see the 2-1 back game. White has a 4-2. How would you play this? A cube has been turned. Okay, over to you.
Yeah. So when I look at this position, what I really focus on is 4 point. If I manage to make a 4 point, the game is practically over. As I said, the timing for 2-1 back game, it's very difficult for him to get a timing for 2-1. So I just want to make a 4 point so that he will be crunched, right? And everything else is just a distraction. The first distraction is the blot on the 18. So a lot of people just hit on the 18 and go to the 14. Okay, I'm just going to show you the best play. But the best play comes out with 4 and slot on the 4 point with a deuce. So that's the quickest way to make a 4 point, and his board is not ready yet. And this time he has to hit if he gonna roll 2 or 3, just because he has no timing for the 2-1 back game and he can't allow me to make a 4 point, so he has to hit. However, he has so many blots over the board, so there's no danger of getting hit. And if he missed a hit, then you're likely to make a 4 point in next go. So that's the best play.
Interesting.
I mean, if you hit 18, you miss the chance to make a 4 point, and again, he gained his timing, so it doesn't help you.
Yeah, and here, like, black is only 60 pips down, so the timing is not good here for the 2-1 back game.
Yeah, exactly.
So hitting, you just give him another 20 pips, basically.
Yeah, so if you see the position from black's point of view, black doesn't want to play 2-1 back game. Black wants to play, for example, he wants to switch to 2-4 back game, for example, or he might want to switch to he might want to grab the 17 points, white's 8 points, so he can make 2-point and 17-point game. Sorry, 2-point and 8-point game. That's much better than stick to one back game.
Yeah, and here we see again the slotting in front of the anchors, because if he does hit you, he has to break the position as well. So, and I mean, would he hit you if he rolled like, I don't know, 3-1 or something? Would he move forward and hit there after the slot? Do you think? Or...
3-1. I am not sure. But maybe. But many other laws, I'm pretty certain that you have to hit. For example, like 3-4, you gotta hit them. Actually, double hit it is. For example, 2-3 you can hit and cover. 2-6 you hit and make the 17, and etc. So simply because you don't have a timing for 2-1. He's looking out for getting out of the this 2-1 back game.
Okay, great. Let's look at the last position then, Mochy, number 4. So here is an interesting one, because white is playing the back game. And so he has a 5-2 to play. And in the book, what's interesting is you see the positions from black's perspective and white's perspective, how to play from a back game and how to play against a back game. So it's very instructive. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, over the board, I guess I made a 4-point, because you mean you make a 4-point and put him on the bar. So how bad it can be? But in the back game, it's so much more important to get out. So the best play is 20-15. You should see that you are actually primed, right? You are playing 3-5 back game. So you're not gonna break the 5-point. So the guy on the 3-point and the guy on the ace point is looking for getting out, and 2-5 is very convenient to come out. And if you get hit, you can remake the ace point. That gives you 1-3-5 game. It's fantastic. And if you don't get hit, then it's good. You could make a 9-point, and you are more flexible. You have all checkers in play. You're not trapped anymore. If you make a 4-point, right? That's good for one row. However, your guys on the ace point and 3-point, it's not getting out yet. So you might be crunched. I'm saying crunch, not only breaking your inner board, but I refer to breaking a midpoint prematurely. You don't want to breaking a midpoint here in this position. So I just want to come out to give myself more timing, give myself more spare checkers to play with.
Yeah. How strong is a 3-5 back game?
3-5 game is decent. The advantage of playing 3-5 is it's easier to get timing, and you're not gonna get gammoned as many as other games.
And what is the worst back game?
Worst back game? Assuming you have a good timing, as I said, 2-1 back game is the strongest. Then low point back game is much stronger, like 1-2, 2-3, 1-3. They are all strong. And the worst back game can be like 1-5 back game. It's pretty weak. And also, what is the other one? 1-4 maybe? No, 1-5 is the worst one.
1-5, sure. And why is 1-5 bad as a back game? Why is it not so good?
I think the reason is that the distance between the anchors. So 1-5 back game has 4 pips apart, right? So you're not gonna get double shots unless he leaves a blot on the 7-point. So that's part of the reason, and it's probably easier for him to clear the outfield points. Because ace point doesn't do much against the clearing 10-point, 9-point, 8-point. Yes, and once he gets all the men into the inner board, now 5-point doesn't do much against he only hits the 6-point.
Yeah.
So really, he's playing an ace-point game after that.
Fantastic. So that was very informative, Mochy. And that was just the first 4 positions from your chapter on backgames in Masterclass. And there are many, many other positions like this where you talk through the reasons and the rationale. And if you as a viewer find this interesting, then buy the book. So and learn some more, because it's not very straightforward. There you see. Can you just flick through it so people can see the inside a little bit, maybe? Okay, so there you can see what it looks like. Beautiful.
I also use a lots of graphs and matrix. Like, let's see, where's the back game here? Yep, it's a back game.
Yeah, I remember the tables where you give that summary of the information at the end. It's very useful.
Yeah, for example, this is, I'm not sure, it's probably too small to read it, but here I'm explaining, how many pip you should be down to take certain cube action. Like if you're playing 5-3 back game, you should be down like 27 pips. If you play 5-2 back game, you should be down 32 pips, etc., etc. I'm, as I said, it's not important to remember those numbers, but it gives you like theoretical background, and you can refer it, and you can use like a good base of how to think of the position. Because you're not going to have like exact same position, but you can utilize the idea on different positions.
Absolutely. It's a really terrific book. I just really want to emphasize, when I read it, it was very interesting, for me as a player, and there's a lot of content. It's good value for money. It's a collaborative project. It's written, with Mochy's insight, so that's worth, if you want a lesson with Mochy, it's going to cost you more than a book costs, so basically, so the book is a good investment. It's Marc, it's Mochy, it's Alec, and all their great minds coming together. Let's just see the last slide there, just so we see the cover again. So there it is. It's available on Galaxy. There will be a paperback version coming in the future if you want a cheaper option. Yes, what else can we say, Mochy? Why should people?
I don't know.
Why should people buy it? Give me some reasons. Tell them.
Yes, the one of the reason is that this is a best seminar I have ever done. 2 of the best seminars, so you can assure that I know what I'm doing. And also my explanation is quite clear. It's not complicated. You don't need any math. You don't need any calculation over the board, because I'm not going to do it by myself, right? Also, backgammon is very difficult to run, and there's no literature about backgammon yet. So this is a good start. What can I say? It's a great book. Not because it's my book. Okay, this sounds like I'm advertising. I am advertising, but it's a good book just because the contents are really nice. This is $89 right now, but if you wait for cheaper options, it's gonna have a soft cover, which is probably $10 or $20 cheaper. So you can wait for it as well, but it's up to you.
Absolutely. You can go onto the Galaxy shop. You can see some pages in there. The content. We have shown you some of the positions that Mochy has spoken about. It's been a really great opportunity for me to talk to you, Mochy, to spend time with you, to learn about your way of thinking. I hope you as the audience have got value from this video and spending time with us also. Mochy, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you so much, Daniel. It was a pleasure. And I hope the book sells well. And if you do bought a book, and if you do buy a book and happen to meet in the tournament, just ask me autograph. I will always do.
Amazing. You're a great guy, a great ambassador. It's always a pleasure to watch you play and learn from your talks. And you can watch your talks on YouTube. Just type his name in. There's much content that's free. And then buy the book. Support the community. Support the players. Their time, their effort, their passion, and their knowledge. It's really worth getting. Any final words, Mochy, before we finish?
Oh no, thank you. Nothing final word for me.
Mochy, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a real pleasure for me and for the audience. See you soon. Goodbye.
See you. Have a nice day, Daniel.
Bye. See you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.